patches, at this time, I'd like to introduce our first keynote speaker for our celebration event, the 17th Chief of Staff of the Air Force and graduate of the F-4 Division of the Fighter Weapons School, General John P. Jumper.
You guys are killing me. You never clap. You never stand up before the speech is made. Oh, General Brown, General Wilsbach. I want to acknowledge Case Cunningham, who couldn't be here tonight, as the center commander. General Goodman, all of the distinguished folks that sit before me here tonight. And members of what I call the Nellis Nation, especially the current and legacy graduates of all the weapons and advanced training courses that we're here to celebrate tonight. When Face Goodman invited me to be part of these events this evening, I was humbled at the opportunity. My generation of graduates at the Weapons School represent only a small part of what has evolved since. But every generation has always represented the best of the warrior culture, and our Air Force needs that now more than ever. I have three quick messages I want to leave you with tonight, and I promise to be efficient in delivering them to you. First, the Air Force is always at its best when we are treated and we act like warriors. The warrior spirit has always been present here at Nellis. We are the center of combat excellence for the United States Air Force. For me, it has always been more than just claiming the warrior mantle. It's always been how proud I was when I saw our graduates perform at the highest level in combat, especially when things aren't going well. When I was commander of U.S. Air Forces in Europe, I got an example of our graduates and our warriors at their best. Many of us will remember in Operation Allied Force when the F-117 got shot down by a Serbian SA-3. I was in the command center at Ramstein at the time as the large strike package entered Serbian airspace. We could hear everything, and we could hear and see the active surface-to-air missiles. And we knew that missiles had been launched. We didn't exactly know where the F-117s were, but very soon we heard that ominous sound of an emergency beacon that signaled that somebody had ejected. Immediately, almost immediately, I had the red switch, you know, that thing that has a bunch of buttons on there, and it's got, you know, the God is up in the upper right, left-hand corner, and Airman Snuffy is down in the lower right-hand corner. The whole top line lights up, and it's the Supreme Allied Commander Europe gone completely berserk because an airplane is down. And I told him, we're on it. And I watched as Major John Cherry, weapons school graduate, takes off with a flight of 4 from Aviano, A-10s, goes into the area. You can clap, A-10 guys, that's good. Goes into the area. At the same time in Brindisi in Italy, they're loading up special ops guys. It was truly a joint team with Army Special Operations and our own folks on board. And you watch this scene come together as we're trying to, with the Space Forces, trying to figure out exactly what the location is, and we got it wrong the first couple of times. And now, you know, it turns into sort of 1 hour and then 2 hours. And the phone rings again. It's the Supreme Allied Commander Europe. He says, Jumper, I want you to take charge of this. I want you to take personal charge of this. You're in command of this search and rescue operation. I want to take personal charge of this. And I said, no. There's a captain in an A-10 who's leading this operation. And he, more than any human on earth, knows how to get that guy out of this situation. And we're going to leave him in charge. Over. And Major John Cherry, we're listening on the radio. This guy calmly goes into this area. He's orchestrating who's going to be on and off the tanker, along with the battle managers who are in the AWACS, working with the battle manager. I didn't hear the space guys when I say the space, that there we are. And this conversation's going on that I wish every American could have heard. It was the amazing quiet competence that defines the lives of the people who sit before me here today. And I was so proud. And as the minutes turned into hours, and the hours turned into a grand orchestration, and people were coming on and off, finally at the final maneuver, you're sitting there, you're watching this on the big screen, and you're watching the A-10s going in there. They've got them. They got the helicopters on their way in. We got the space people tracking Serbian troops. Yeah. And that's much better, much better. And you watch this thing happen. Everybody knows what's going on. You watch this whole strike force sort of collapse in on this problem. Battle managers, space people, I mean the whole 9 yards. And they go in and get this guy, and they pull this guy out. And I look later on, and among the battle managers, I won't go into the details. There are a lot of patch wearers in this group that took place in this operation. The following January, Major John Cherry, and I had to order him to do it, to put his uniform on and go to the State of the Union address so the President of the United States could honor him as he sat up there in the balcony for what he did. This is us at our best. This is what we do. Lesson number 2. Nellis has always been the place where competence and passion is allowed to flourish. Some of the greatest innovations in both technology and tactical discipline, more importantly, tactical discipline, have been pushed by the captains and the majors and supported by the colonels and the generals here at Nellis. I was able to watch the advent of the aggressor program. It started before I got here at Nellis as an instructor, but the story is unbelievable. There was a major named Randy O'Neill. Does anybody know Randy in the crowd? There's not many. I don't know Randy. But Randy is the guy who first thought up the aggressors. And he went to the then center commander. He's a weapons instructor here. He then goes to the center commander, General Chersill, with a briefing. And General Chersill says, we have got to create a professional aggressor force. Up to that time, many of us old people will remember, from about 1963 to 1970, we lost 44 F-4s in out-of-control accidents. And the answer of the Air Force for that was to stop air-to-air training. When we slowly brought it back on board, it was only similar air-to-air training. The idea that we'd have dissimilar aircraft on different frequencies was just not even considerable. Think about that. Major Randy O'Neill had a better idea. presented it to his boss. He and his boss call Tactical Air Command headquarters. General Momeyer is the commander of Tactical Air Command. We want to bring you, well, they didn't talk to him directly, to the staff. The staff would not let General Chaircell and Randy O'Neill come forward with that briefing because they thought it would present too much risk. A couple of months later, General Momeyer visited Nellis, and Chaircell and Randy O'Neill were ready, and they gave him the briefing, and General Momeyer said, we're going to do this. And that's how it started. A major with a patch with an idea. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. But it's the kind of folks out here that have that competent, quiet competence and the passion that have always represented the very best of what we do. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button and lost my place here. You know, at the same time, Red Flag was introduced. Dick Andrade and I, Dick, where are you? Dick Andrade and maybe others. Yeah. Dick Andrade and I flew in the very first Red Flag in December of 1975. I don't know if anybody, there may be others who flew in that Red Flag. 25 years later, I was commander of Air Combat Command, and General Ryan and I, General Ryan, who's the Chief of Staff, and I flew in the 25th anniversary. Him in an F-16 and me in an F-15 for the 50th anniversary. I'm trying to get permission to fly in the 50th. I don't think it's going to work, but I'm going to try anyway. But think about that. The aggressors changed the world in ways that even people in this audience really don't understand, because you don't understand where we were coming from. Red Flag changed the world because we were able to exercise ourselves in ways that we never were before, and it turned into Green Flag, and where you emphasize electronic warfare and things that changed the world for all of us. The third thing I want to tell you is that there has never been a greater need for the warrior spirit or for competent and passionate leadership than there is right now. As the Air Force prepares itself for challenges in the Pacific, while still having to deal with the other challenges of the world, I mean, General Brown is here. I think about him every day and what he's going through. But we talk about this pivot to the Pacific. We talk about, if you look up the word pivot, it means you turn towards something, but you're turning away from something else. We can't turn away from the other things that actually happen in the world. We got to be ready for the things that happen in the Middle East. It's the full spectrum of warfare as we get back into the great power challenges, and then we're still having to deal with the things we've had to deal with for the last 20 or 30 years. And as the Air Force prepares itself for unprecedented challenges in the Pacific specifically, all of the generational transformation that's taken place here at Nellis, air and space power, mobility, intelligence, AMOS. I mean, where's AMOS? We got AMOS folks here tonight? I'm sorry we don't, because one of the things we got to fix is sortie generation. When we look at the CONOPS for the Pacific Theater and sortie generation, we can't even generate the level of sorties we're going to need in combat. We can't generate them in peacetime. We're going to have to deal with that. And it's the people here, as you're talking about AMOS, RPAs. I was privileged to give there's an award named after me for RPAs that was won by Major Matt Lowe. There we go, RPAs. You all know Matt Lowe. He was at Maxwell when we were down there for another event earlier, or I guess last week, and I was able to present Matt Lowe with an award for RPAs that was named after me. These are folks who come in and they create the course, the weapons course for RPAs. Battle management, command and control, and all the functions that make up the orchestra of combat competence that we will have to have, and we are going to have to advance to the next level, a higher level, to deal with the Pacific theater, the tyranny of distance, and the ever more competent adversary that we're going to potentially have to face eventually. And if we do, we're going to be fighting them in their own backyard. Their OODA loop is about 125 miles. Our OODA loop is about 5,000. It's a difficult situation. General Cunningham, General Goodman, I'm proud to see have stepped up to this challenge. I see a lot of effort here to integrate the functional expertise that we have perfected here over time. It's the functional expertise that's going to have to work together to deal with these challenges that we face. So just let me close this by saying that too few know and appreciate the tremendous service that these generations of warriors that occupy this room tonight have rendered to the advancement of air and space power and to our nation. I'd like to remind everybody that we're approaching the 250th anniversary of our nation, the greatest nation on earth. And it's appropriate to remind ourselves that our nation, our form of government has never been perfect, but we've always been self-correcting. One of my post-retirement duties was to be the president and CEO of the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's another story, fighter pilot in charge of a museum. But I got to hang around with Pulitzer Prize-winning historians and to focus on the 250th anniversary of the nation and the opportunity we have to renew our understanding of what it takes to be a citizen of this nation. I don't have to tell this audience that, but we need to tell the world that. We've always been self-correcting, and we've done that through dangers worse than we face today. That oath that we all took to support and defend the Constitution of the United States defines a sacred duty, a grand devotion to something bigger than ourselves. And let me tell you, when you're 79 years old like I am, and you're standing looking back on your life, take it from me. The things that mean the most to you are the things that you have done for and with others. It's the things that you've done that's been a part of something bigger than yourself. All of you have checked that square. And you should be proud of the opportunity we've all had to do that, we who wear the patch. A great portion of our nation's fighting power, of its warrior spirit, are assembled here in this room tonight. It's that warrior spirit that we got to take to the next level as we face these challenges before us. And it has been my privilege to be able to wear the patch that we all share, this common call to duty. And I've been proud to be a part of you. Thank you all very much.